In the previous parts of this tutorial, I discussed the basic tools for creating 3D solids based on 2D sketches. You also learned the tools for creating 2D sketches and the sketch editing tools, and you also learned the constraints, which is something that allows you to determine the relationship between geometries. And the issues we discussed in the previous parts of this tutorial are basic issues related to creating 3D objects in 3D CAD systems. But of course there are just the basics, but it is a good basis for further learning and further exploration of Fusion 360. And as I mentioned in this video, I will show you how to add fillets and chamfers to the model, and to add fillet to the model you need to select the edges to which you want to add fillet. And we can do it in such a way that with the Ctrl key pressed, we select the edges that we want to round. I will select 4 inner edges of this pocket and then select the fillet command, which will add rounding in these corners. And now we need to determine the value of the radius. We can do it by dragging this arrow, or we can enter a specific value of the radius in this place. I, for example, enter 5 mm and click OK. And in this way we can add rounding the edge of the model, but we can also first select the fillet command. And now we can select the edges that we want to round. And here we don't have to hold the Ctrl key down, we just click with the left mouse button on the edges that we want to round. And as before, the value of such rounding should also be determined, and here I will enter 1 mm and click OK. And when it comes to adding chamfers, we do it in the same way as adding rounding. That is, first we select the edges that we want to chamfer, select the chamfer operation and determine the size of the chamfer. We can do it by dragging the arrow, or we can specify the value in this place, and I enter 5 mm here and click OK. Or as in the case of adding roundings, here we can also first select the chamfer operation and then select the edges that we want to chamfer. And we determine the value of the chamfer, for example, by dragging this arrow, or we can also specify a specific value by entering this value in this box. I will enter 7 mm here and click enter. When it comes to chamfer operation and the fillet operation, these are the basic operations of the solid modification, and they are very simple to use. And I would also like to show you how you can edit the operation that we have already added to the model. For example, I would like to change the depth of this pocket now. And to do this, you need to locate this operation in the operation history. Okay, this is the operation. And then right click and select edit feature, and here we can change the depth of this pocket, for example to -7 mm. OK, and the change has already applied to the model. In a similar way we can change the size of the sketch, and now I'm editing the first sketch, and to edit the sketch, click on the sketch with the right mouse button and select edit sketch, and now I will change this dimension. Here I will enter 150 mm, click enter, and pay attention to this circle. This circle is still in the middle of the rectangle, because when drawing this circle in the first part of tutorial I showed you the advantage of using constraints, and the fact that we create construction lines here which are placed in the middle of this rectangle, and then we connected the center of the circle to these lines, causes this circle to always lie in the middle of the rectangle, regardless of the dimension of this rectangle. I click finish sketch, and the changes have also been applied to the model. And okay, despite the fact that it is a simple part, during this tutorial we discussed a lot of issues related to 3D modeling in 3D CAD systems. We discussed basic issues related to creating 2D sketches, dimensions, and basic operations of creating 3D solids based on a 2D sketch. And that's where we end this tutorial. Thanks for watching and please subscribe to this channel. It contributes a lot to the growth of this channel.